You are listening to the daily homily for Magdala in the Holy Land.
The disciples were on the way going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus went ahead of them. They were amazed, and those who followed were afraid. Taking the 12 aside again, he began to tell them what was going to happen to him. Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and hand him over to the Gentiles, who will mock him, spit upon him, scourge him, and put him to death. But after 3 days he will rise. Then James and John, sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus and said to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us what we ask of you." He replied, "What do you wish me to do for you?" They answered him, "Grant that in your glory we may sit one at your right and the other at your left." Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the chalice that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized?" They said to him, "We can." Jesus said to them, "The chalice that I drink, you will drink, and with the baptism with which I am baptized, you will be baptized. But to sit at my right or at my left is not mine to give, but is for those for whom it has been prepared." When the 10 heard this, they became indignant at James and John. Jesus summoned them and said to them, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Human culture doesn't change too much. One of the most formal moments in America, in politics, political life of the nation, is when the president gives the State of the Union address. And you see that image of Congress, and beside him is the vice president and the Speaker of the House. Two very important figures in the American government structure. And they're flanking him, or standing right behind him. And so when James and John say to Jesus, "When you come into your glory," that means they know that he will be the Messiah. He calmed the water, he raised the dead, he fed the thousands, and he's telling them, "I'm going into my glory." But they didn't get that he was going to be going into his glory by crucifixion. And they want to be at his right and at his left. And they even have the nerve to ask him to grant their petition before they tell them what they want. Like a little girl going to her daddy and say, "Daddy, you must give me what I want." And it's going to be very hard for Daddy not to give what she then says. He probably should first of all say, "Well, before you tell me, it will depend on what I can do." There are some conditions here. But these guys ask Jesus to give them what they want. And we have a prayer, "Thy will be done. Give us this day our daily bread," what we need for today. They haven't understood a lot of things. And then when the other disciples hear what they try to do, they get mad at them as well. And they pound on them. Imagine all these guys pounding on the two that made the mistake. It's amazing, this dynamic in these guys. And they're the leaders of Jesus' community. What does it tell us about them? And then it's interesting that they haven't captured what Jesus has been teaching them about going the way of suffering. And this is the third time. And at the same time, they're going to Jerusalem. They're amazed that Jesus is going there because he shouldn't be going there. There's just enemies waiting for him. And they're afraid because their skin is in the deal. They're with Jesus. And they're looking for first places to get crucified with them. But the funny thing is, or the interesting thing is, that's what happens. They actually become martyrs with Jesus. He asked them, are you ready to drink the cup that I will drink? And they said, yes. They trusted Jesus. I saw a beautiful quote this morning from a friend who was here in Magdala a lot. And the quote was, when you have a good guide that you trust, it doesn't matter how the path is, because the guide will take you to your goal. That's a beautiful way to understand Jesus. Because he's an extraordinary guide. So he said to them, well, can you drink the cup I will drink? He's kind of throwing it back at them because he's not telling them what exactly it's going to be, although he has said he will be crucified. And they buy into that. They say, yes, we'll take that on. Which is also amazing, maybe a little naive. So when we say yes to following Jesus, it's a yes that's open-ended. It's like marriage. It's like parents who want to have a child and they don't know how the child is going to be. Will it be a Harvard graduate? Will it be an Olympic medalist? Will it be a national sports finalist? Or will the child be Down syndrome? You sign on unconditionally for whatever the Lord wants. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. One day it brought us COVID, another tomorrow brought us the 7th of October. And all these change our life immensely, and we can't control it a day ahead, even an hour ahead. We can't control what happens. And they make their commitment total. They say, yes, we will go the whole way. And for me, the big message I would like to communicate, at least it fills my heart today with these readings, is the transformation that happened in these guys. Because then we have the letter of Peter. Okay, it was James and John and Peter. Well, they're all in the same boat, right? Literally. So the way Peter is talking in this letter about Jesus, Peter's disciples who have been taught by him, the community founded by him, and they understand Jesus, that he was known before the foundation of the world, but revealed for us today. Through him, we believe in God, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory. Again, we have the word glory. When you come in your glory, can we sit at your right hand and your left hand? This is an amazing process, how these guys from the Sea of Galilee were transformed. And how did they get transformed? By hanging with Jesus, by his grace working in their lives, by the example, the magnetic example of his life which they followed, and letting themselves subsequently be transformed by grace in the course of their entire lifetime following Jesus. And we all have found Jesus. We've all had an encounter with him. We all are walking with him at one way or other in our lives, at one speed or other in our lives, at one desire and intensity or other in our lives. But we're walking with Jesus. That's the good thing. And the great thing is to continue persevering in that walk, and grace will be transforming our hearts. And even if today we prefer glory to the cross, we are where we are. We don't need to fake it or hide it, or we don't need to be condemning the others like these other 10 got indignant with the 2 that made the mistake. We have to become a community of mercy, walking with each other, being transformed by grace, never keeping our eyes off Jesus, always keeping them on Jesus, and going forward on that path. We don't know where bends are going to be in the mountain, if there's going to be wild animals. It doesn't matter. We trust our leader, we follow, and we will be transformed, and we will celebrate in glory.
Thank you for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Magdala, follow us on YouTube and on Facebook.